I'd like to say good morning to everybody. Good morning. And I'm going to be reading Psalms, the 22nd chapter, 22nd division. But I'll be reading out of a Holy Name Bible containing the Holy Name version of the Old and New Testaments, critically compared with ancient authorities and various manuscripts, revised by the late A.D. Trainer of the Scripture Research Association. Psalms, the 22nd division. My El, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me, and from the words of my roaring? O my Elohim, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, in the night season, and am not silent. But thou art holy, O thou that inhabitest the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in thee, they trusted, and thou didst deliver them. They cried unto thee, and were delivered. They trusted in thee, and were not confounded. But I am a worm, and no man, a reproach of men, and despise of the people. All they that see me laugh me to scorn. They shoot out the lip. They shake the head, saying, He trusted on Yahweh, that he would deliver him. But let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him. But thou art he that took me out of the womb. Thou didst make me hope when I was upon my mother's breast. I was cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my El, from my mother's belly. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, for there is none to help. Many bulls have compassed me. Strong bulls of Bashan have beset me round. They gap upon me with their mouths, as a raving and a roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted in the midst of my bowels. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue cleaveth to my jaws. And thou hast brought me into the dust of death. For dogs have compassed me, the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. I may count all my bones. They look and stare upon me. They part my garments among them, and cast lots upon my vesture. But be not thou far from me, O Yahweh, O my strength has thee to help me. Deliver my soul from the sword, my life from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth, and thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorns. I will declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the congregation will I praise thee. Ye that fear Yahweh, praise him. All ye the seed of Jacob, glorify him, and fear him, all ye the seed of Israel. For he hath not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted, neither hath he hid his face from him. But when he crieth unto him, he heard. My praise shall be of thee in the great congregation. I will pay my vows before them that fear him. The meek shall eat and be satisfied. They shall praise Yahweh that seek him. Your heart shall live forever. All the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto Yahweh, and all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before thee. For the kingdom is Yahweh's, and he is the governor among the nations. And they that are great upon the earth shall eat and worship. All they that go down to the dust shall bow before him, and none can keep alive his own soul. A seed shall serve him. It shall be accounted to Yahweh for a generation. They shall come and shall declare his righteousness unto a people that shall be born, that he hath done this. I just read Psalms, the 22nd division.
Dr. Allen, are we going to have questions and answers during your lecture, or no?
Probably will be.
Okay. If you have questions and answers, if the dean opens up the lecture to questions and answers, please raise your hands and be acknowledged before you ask your question, so we can have an ordered class. And our speaker this morning will be the dean, Dr. Fred Allen Jr.
Good morning, everyone. How's everybody this morning? That's good. That's good.
How are you?
I'm fine, a little somewhat unprepared to what I'd like to have been prepared for, but otherwise I feel good. Everything's fine. To our younger students in the class, I'm going to try to speak and play and explain things as clearly as I can, but I'm also going to ask that if you have a question, raise your hand and ask. We're here to help you to find and know Yahweh as He really is and as He truly exists. And sometimes questions do arise and they do need to be answered. And to start off with, I wanted to I had asked about a month and a half ago to have the students read the last two chapters of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And we were going to try to have a class with the use of that. And I think Friday night I said you should add the 19th chapter of John also. But nevertheless, we want to try to see what we can get out of this and hope it'll be benefit for everybody. Now, in the world has claimed Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and John as being four Gospels. And right off we want to say that's wrong to begin with. Can I get 1 Corinthians 15 and 1, please?
1 Corinthians 15 and 1. Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel, which I preached unto you.
Right there, I want to stop right there first. It says, moreover, or on top of what I've written in the previous 14 chapters, this is on top of that. Moreover, brother, I don't want you to be ignorant. You know, we want you to have some kind of knowledge, some kind of understanding about a thing. Read.
Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel, which
He
I
said gospel singular. He didn't say gospels. He says gospel singular. One gospel. Read.
I declare unto you the gospel.
So what is the gospel? Read on.
Which I preached unto you.
Now he said he preached it unto them.
Which also you have received.
And you also received it, or you accepted what he said to them. Read.
And wherein ye stand.
And if you have received it and you accept it, you stand in it. Read.
By which also you are saved.
And if you receive it, you will be saved. If you reject it, you will be lost. That's just plain and simple as it comes. Read on.
That's if you keep it in memory.
Now he said that is if you keep it in memory. So now we require some memory now. So I mean, when you hear and you accept, you have to believe it and then remember it. You're gonna need it to stand on. Okay, read on.
If you keep in memory what I preached unto you, unless ye have believed in vain. For I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received, how the Messiah died for our sins according to the Scriptures.
They said how he received it. Now he didn't receive it by being an eyewitness to the Messiah walking around the earth praying, doing the things he did, and see. Paul or Saul. Paul is his Greek name, and Saul is his Hebrew name. And he was around the time of the Messiah, but he was not privileged to be able to listen to him speak and that type of thing. He was not able to go into the temple and hear the priest talk about or say anything about it. So he was being taught separately by one of the rulers of Israel. And by him being taught that way, then he didn't go into the temple, didn't go into fellowship in the temple because he was a eunuch. And the eunuchs were not allowed in the temple because he didn't have no seed, didn't have no offspring, or couldn't have offspring. So by that being, then he didn't go in. But he was taught by the leaders of Israel, and they challenged, they wanted, well, let me say it this way first. After the Messiah's death, burial, and resurrection, and the Jews that received the Holy Spirit on the day of Pentecost, they began to preach that the Messiah came in and fulfilled the law and the prophecy. They didn't have no more had to do the things that was under the old covenant anymore. And they took offense to it. So we got Jews that believed the Messiah. You got Jews that didn't believe in the Messiah. See? And that brought about a conflict. And Saul was the instigator of the persecution of the Jews at that time. Now, remember, he's a Jew, but he's not persecuting his own people because they didn't believe or they wouldn't keep the law of Moses, because they had come to understand that the Messiah come in and died by fulfilling the law and the prophets and moving it out of the way. So that being said now, so Paul, he was on his way doing that, got letters of authority, so he got permission by the priest to do what he was doing, bring anybody in they found opposing Moses' law, bring him to captivity, be put in prison, or even have him stoned to death, or killed, I should say it that way. So he's convicted for doing that. And he wanted, by his peers wanted him, by being a young man at the time, he wanted to appease his elders, so he went about doing that. But on his way down to Damascus, see, the one that he was opposing appeared to him. And that was Yahshua appeared to him on the way to Damascus. And when he appeared to him, he saw in a vision the Messiah and understood the Messiah's purpose and plan all the way from when he came in the world and that type of thing. So let me preface that before that. Before this event, he already knew the law, and he knew the prophets.
Sure.
See? So he'd been well schooled in that. It's just that he was not able to mingle in the temple and the fellowship of the people. So he'd been privately tutored. Now, when they came to the time to have somebody to go out and persecute, they chose this young man, which was willing to go out and do that, so he was volunteered to do that. So when the Messiah appeared to him on the way to Damascus, that's what caused him to understand the Messiah's mission, why he came in the world, what he did, and how he saw the whole thing. He saw it in a vision. Mm-hmm. And that's what gives him, that's what makes him now, that puts him in the position now to speak, as he's saying here in this letter here that he's writing to the Corinthians. Okay, read on.
How that Yahshua died for our sins.
Now it says how, now this is the gospel now. How the Messiah died for our sins.
According to the Scriptures.
According to the Scriptures. Now, what's the Scriptures now? Because we've been taught all kinds of things about that too, and most people just think the Scriptures is well, anything, because anything's written in Script. Mm-hmm. But we want to narrow it down to what the Messiah is talking about and what Paul's talking about here. See, and he's talking about the writings of Moses and the prophets, and those writings is what we have to look at to see, because remember, he's saying how the Messiah died according to the Scriptures. So it means something in the Scriptures that's going to point down to how he came in the world, what he did. See? Okay, read on.
And that he was buried.
That he was buried, so that's a point. It's got to be also verified by the Scriptures. Read.
And that he rose again.
And that he rose again.
The third day.
The third day.
According to the Scriptures.
According to the Scriptures. Now that's the gospel. See? But in that it involves a whole lot more, because you got to go back and see what did he do, what did he accomplish for us. And when you understand that, then you're able to see how he lifted the burden of that law off of our shoulders by him fulfilling it. I should say off of their shoulders, because the Jews would not give it to the Gentiles in the first place. So try to be clear about everything so everybody be on the same page about it. See? Now, having said that now, we know what the gospel is, we know it's based upon that. Now, Charles asked me, we're going to be a question and answer. Well, main thing is going to be, I'm going to be asking questions too as well. So, so that's going. I do that to try to stimulate your mind to think about what's being said and what's being done, and hopefully that it causes you to remember more clearly too. Because sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. So, I understand that as well. So now, those of you that read the assignment, let's put it that way. What did you get out of that? What did you read out of it? Did you find confusion? Did you find everything okay? Did you understand things clear enough or what? Raise your hand if you want to make a comment. Okay.
Yeah. So when I read the three Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, those versions. I noticed that Mark was a little bit more different than the other writings, and that John didn't write a lot of the stuff that the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote. Is what the analysis that I got out of that. And then Matthew and Luke seemed like they were in line, and so did Mark too. But Mark wrote something. His dialect was a little bit different than the other ones, and how he spoke and how he presented stuff.
Lucy?
I noticed two differences, like in one account, I think it's in Matthew, it says they held him by the feet, and then over in John, he says, touch me not, for I have not ascended. Also differences, one says that they put on him a scarlet robe, another one says a purple robe, and another one says a gorgeous robe. One account has one angel, the other accounts have two angels, and one has a young man, doesn't specify as an angel.
Very good, very good. That's good. That's good. Anybody else want to make a comment about it? Well, Rosalie?
You have to read all of the biographies to really start seeing what was going on with the disciples that night as far as following Yahshua. When you start reading all of the biographies, it starts putting it together, and you get a better understanding of what really happened that night from the time they left the Passover to the time, and you start learning about really other disciples too. That I know I learned some things that all these years in class I never knew.
Yeah. We haven't been that specific about all of the disciples, that's true. And there's still a few of them we still don't know much about. So, having said that now, I don't know how this is going to go. What I wanted to do, I didn't get done like I wanted to do to be able to present it in a more uniform way, but we're going to try to make some sense out of things and try to cover some things. And then when we get through, you got questions about other things, but we'll go into them as well. I just can't take everything and just count everything and just go down one by one, which is the way I like to do it, but it takes a lot of time to do it that way. But we're going to try to go through some of this here writings and see what we have here. Okay. Now, we got four writers. Mark and Luke were not disciples. So they didn't walk around and see the Messiah do the things he did or nothing like that. They came in after the death, burial, and resurrection of the Messiah. And they wrote, all these writings you have of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John was not written until 20 to 40 years after the Messiah's death. So you would see, I should say 30 years after, see, because they didn't write at that time, see. So now you got these writings being done years later. But we also know that the Messiah had told them that he's going to give them the Spirit, a Comforter, and that Comforter is going to bring back to their remembrance whatever he said unto them. So now you have that on record. So the disciples that heard him say that, they would be able to recall things that others may not have done it. So what you have to understand about Matthew, now Matthew was a disciple, and he walked around with the Messiah. But a lot of things he was not present, like he didn't go to the tomb. He wasn't there. Now John, he did go to the tomb. See? Now Mark, he was a disciple of Peter. So Peter was the one that instructed him, and that's where he got his information from. And he wrote, well, he's a convert, Peter is right, and he wrote, this is what he called John Mark, so you can be aware that it is John Mark. See, and he's taken what he's wrote based on what Peter told him and what other things he might have heard about as he did his investigation. Now Luke, can we have Luke first chapter 1? I'm trying to get this history first, and you'll be able to appreciate better what happened, what they heard. Because when we start getting this together, it's going to be moving, and you're going to see a lot of things transpire between the things. Okay. Luke 1 and 1.
Luke 1 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
For as much as many have taken in hand to set forth in order a declaration of those things which were most surely believed among us.
Now realize Luke now, he was converted by Saul or Paul. And by that being, he traveled with him, saw the things that he's seen done, and what Saul or what Paul said to him. And remember, Paul was not a disciple, but he had a vision, and Yahweh revealed to him the things about the Messiah. Okay, read on.
Even as they delivered them unto us,
Mm-hmm.
which from the beginning were eyewitnesses.
So now he's saying he's writing down what was delivered to that were eyewitnesses delivered unto him. See? Now Saul was more like I'm going to say like a lawyer and a doctor. He investigated, he checked out, verified what was said by the disciples before he wrote. See? So he's giving an account as accurate as he could based upon the things he heard from the disciples, the ones that were eyewitnesses and things he got. He talked to Mary, talked to different ones that was alive at the time. He talked to them. See, okay, read on.
And ministers of the world.
And ministers of the world, read.
It seemed good to me also,
It seemed good to me also,
having investigated carefully all things from the very beginning, to write them unto thee in order, most excellent Theophilus.
Theophilus. Now, he's writing, went back and checked on his Messiah's birth, the events that happened around the Messiah, even went to John's birth and his birth, the things that happened with John the Baptist. So he's he's giving a kind of more like a detailed account. And being a doctor, he would naturally be interested when he talked about a woman that was a virgin giving birth to a child. So that raises a curiosity in his mind to check into that. See, so he's writing and giving an account based upon that. So I'm saying all that about it so you see have a better picture of the different writers. When you read them, you'll be able to have an understanding of why they might say or word a thing the way they did. So all that becomes in the picture as well. Now, does anybody have any questions about that, about the authors? Now we got everybody confused. Now we can go on. Okay, now. Oh boy. We're going to start dealing with this time frame based upon don't want to do it right at that point, yeah. Because this does not deal much. No, they didn't deal much with the supper had already passed by the time these chapters were written. So the supper's already been passed. So we're talking about after that. So we're talking about the events that happened really the day of the Messiah's crucifixion. Okay? Now, let's go. I'm gonna have this read first. You know what? Can I get? Do you mind reading? Okay. You and okay. We got 4 readers. I want this to come where see one Matthew, one Mark, one Luke, one John. That's the way I'm going to do it right now. And the reason why I'm going to do it that is to make it easier, so everybody don't get tired of reading and have a different voice for different books. And I'm going to do this real quickly now. So Matthew 27:38, Mark 15:27, Luke 23:32 and 33. And then get John 19 and 18. That's going to be Lucy's, 19 and 18. Now this is all about the same thing, but they're different writers. That's what we're doing now. Okay? Okay, read now, please.
That was Matthew 27:28.
Yes,
Right.
27.
38.
38.
Matthew 27:38.
Sorry.
38.
Okay, Matthew 27 and 38. Then were there two thieves crucified with him, one on the right hand and another on his left.
Mm-hmm.
And they passed by, reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou hast destroyed the temple, and buildest it up in 3 days.
That's enough. That's all
Okay,
I want to get
all
right
right.
there.
Mhm.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Okay.
Mark
Mm-hmm.
15 and 27.
Mm-hmm.
And with him they crucified two thieves, and one on his right hand and the other on his left foot.
Mhm.
On his left, excuse
Mhm.
me.
That's good. At least we move from the feet back up to the hand. That's good. That's okay. It's still the same thing, really. Basically. Okay.
Mark 15, 27.
Okay, Luke verses 32 and 33. And there were also two other malefactors led with him to be put to death. And when they were come to the place which is called Calvary, there they crucified him, and the malefactors, one on the right hand and the other on the left.
Mm-hmm. Lucy?
John 19:18, where they crucified him, and two others with him, on either side one, and Yahshua in the midst.
Yeah, they were pretty much all basically the same thing. They just
Sure.
saying there were two people, two other men crucified with him, and he was in the midst of them.
Sure.
Okay. See. Now it said the two malefactors with him, they were thieves and robbers, but they were. See. And what I try to do, I try to have some way to justify that being so. See. When I look at this tabernacle, and I look at the function of the tabernacle, the high priest. When a man sins, he brings his sin offering unto the high priest to be offered up or to be killed. Sometimes he had to kill him too, but somebody had to be killed. Well, everybody can see him bring his sacrifice so they know he committed a sin. Okay? So, and then you look at that as being like a robber. A robber come up in daylight, give me your money. Daylight, see? You see it. So now a thief, he's going to come in at night when you're asleep or you're not at home and going to take your belongings, that type of thing. But here's the priest. You don't see him bringing a sacrifice up to the altar. So he's kind of without sin, say it that way. Or his sin is not seen. Like a thief. He's like a thief. So they bring the sacrifice to the high priest, and the high priest kills it, offers it up. The man that offer up the sin, he's offering up on one side, and the priest on the other side, and then the animal that's being offered up in the midst of them. So you see a thief and a robber on both sides of the altar, in principle, in type, is all I'm saying. So you can see why it had to happen, why it had to be, yes.
And then the animals that would be like the Messiah being innocent.
Right, that's right. That's exactly right.
Without sin.
Without sin, right. Okay. We're going to move on a little bit further. I'm just taking this to highlight some things together. Now we're going to deal with after he's crucified. Okay. Now, there's a lot of events like I just can't get them all in my mind and try to handle them, try to carry them in sequence as much as I possibly can. But while he's on the cross, things he said, while he's on the cross, they are just as important. Let me take this out. Okay. Oh boy. I wanted to have this a little bit better enough. I got on my computer last night and I had done this much, and I made one or two changes, and it just changed everything. And then it locked up on me.
Nice.
So I didn't get I had to wait to run all night long to straighten things out. So anyhow, when he was I have to get another piece here. Okay. There's a count. Well, let me put it this way. When he's put on the cross, I don't think I got them all here. I need to do all that first, bro. When they crucified him, Herod had them put a sign over their head. See? We're going to deal with that right now, with the sign he put over the head. Just going back to Matthew 27:37. Mark 15:26. Luke 23:38. Lucy, you got John 19:19. Which is right, but I want Lucy, I want you to read 19 and 20 and 21.
Matthew 27 and 37. And set over his head his accusation written, "This is Yahshua, King of the Jews."
You know something, Tony, while you're reading there,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go up a little bit further. Wait a minute, no, it's not. It's down further. Okay, let's go. Go ahead. We read that. It was right. This is Yahshua, King of the Jews.
Right.
Or
And set
King
over his
over
head
Jesus.
his accusation written, "This is Yahshua, King of the Jews."
Okay. Okay. Then we have Mark 15:26.
Mark 15 and 26. And the superscription of his accusation was written over, "The King of the Jews."
Okay. Then he says King of Jews. Okay. Then Luke.
23:38. And a superscription.
Now, I would like for you. Start with 36, 37, 38.
Luke 23 and 36. And the soldiers also mocked him, coming to him and offering him vinegar, and saying, "If thou be the King of the Jews, save thyself." And a superscription also was written over him in letters of Greek and Latin and Hebrew, "This is the King of the Jews."
Okay, okay. Now I want John. Now John, I want to read a bit more because I want to see how the people reacted to it. Okay. John 19:19, 20, and 21.
John 19:19, and Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was, "Yahshua of Nazareth, the King of the Jews." This title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Yahshua was crucified was nigh to the city, and it was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin. Then said the chief priests of the Jews to Pilate, "Write not the King of the Jews, but that he said, I am the King of the Jews."
Next question, please.
Pilate answered, "What I have written, I have written."
So he was going to stand where it was that he's King of the Jews. Now notice that it said it said one says they got two of them that said that was King of the Jews. One, two of them, like Matthew and John wrote, said this is Yahshua, King of the Jews, and it says Yahshua Nazareth, King of the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the reason why I'm trying to get important, I'm trying to get this name in this title to put over here. Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
One account also says the soldiers put that plaque or that accusation up, and the other two accounts say that Pilate put it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then one doesn't specify who put it up.
Yeah.
I would say that it would be by the order of Pilate.
Pilate.
that the soldiers put it up.
Mhm.
He was a governor, he's not gonna be doing any nailing.
No way.
You know, but, that's why the priest came to him, because he had the authority to change the superscription, as it's called.
Well, he was reluctant to even have him crucified in the first place.
Right, right.
But the point you had to bear in mind was that they couldn't crucify him; they had to be done by the Romans. And then when they crucified him, then he had them put this inscription upon him. Now, what I'm calling my attention to, it could not have been Jesus. That's what I'm trying to get down to.
That's
Because
true.
there's no J in Mac, and there's no J in Hebrew, Latin, or Greek, or Greek's writings. They don't have a J. You get a dictionary, look at it, you'll find no J in their languages. So it would not. So then you would not be able to have the word Jesus put up there. So you had to see. You had to go back to the name Yahshua.
That's true.
Okay. Now they put that on the cross, but then they also did some ways on the cross. Now we had the Psalms read, and you find a number of things in Psalms, the 22nd chapter, that occurred on that same day that he was crucified. Mm-hmm. The first verse, he says, the Messiah, when he's hanging on the cross, he says, my El, why hast thou forsaken me? Mm-hmm. See? And somebody said, well, why are you saying that for? You know, that type of thing. Well, he's got to fulfill, this is in the prophecy, this is in Psalms, and it's got to be fulfilled. And why is he saying it in the first place? See, because you go back, you see that when you go back here, when Adam disobeyed the commandment of Yahweh, then that separation between him and Yahweh was separated, was cut, I'll say it that way. Then he would be saying, is it coming out of the garden, my El, why hast thou forsaken me? Well, this Adam back here, he was a figure of the Messiah when he comes. So he's got to come in, and he's going to have to say, my El, why hast thou forsaken me in fulfillment. Not that he knew he was forsaken, he knew Yahweh was on his side, but he had to say that to fulfill that back in the scriptures. See? So he said that. See, now, while he's on the cross then, you had them go back now, we'll go Matthew again, 27:35. Mark 15:24. And then Luke 23:34. And I want John 19:23 and 24.
Matthew 27 and 35. And they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled which were written by the prophets. They departed my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots.
So you're casting lots, okay. Now over in Mark.
Mark 15:24. And when they had crucified him, they parted his garments, casting lots upon them, what every man should take.
Okay. So they're casting lots and dividing the garments. Okay, read on. And Luke
23:34. Then said Yahshua, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lots.
Okay. He is taking upon himself the sins of the world, and the world don't even know it. Don't even know it. See, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Okay. Okay. John 19:23 and 24.
John 19:23. Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Yahshua, took his garments and made 4 parts, to every soldier a part, and also his coat. Now the coat was without seam, woven from the top throughout. They said therefore among themselves, let us not rend it, but cast lots for it, whose it shall be. In fulfillment of the scripture which saith, they part my raiment among them, and for my vesture they cast lots. These things therefore the soldiers did.
Okay, that's found in Psalms 22:18. So you were seeing that, and bear in mind now, when was Psalms written? See, David was king at the time, and he ruled about 46, 47 years before 1000 BBY, before the birth of the Messiah. See, because he was king 40 years before Saul. Saul was king during the time they built the temple, and the temple was you find was dedicated in the year 1000. So I'm just trying to give you that history behind that, so you see that we got a prophecy being made 1020 years ahead of time, and it's coming to pass. See what people are going to be doing, what they're going to be saying, everything's already foretold. So you can see that. What we're trying to show you is Yahweh, He has declared the end from the beginning. That's how come He's able to have the prophets write what's going to happen many years down the road, and it come to pass. And that's what then convinces you, or you and me, that the scriptures are true. When we have that done, we are able to be convinced by that. So we're able to see that. Okay, now we're going to move on a little bit further, because I'm get something that I think I want to get to. This is where my thing got all messed up. Huh?
You said Friday night, I believe it was, that we may not get through the whole thing, and that we might continue the following Sunday.
Yeah. Or sometime, yeah, right.
All right, sometime.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question? Because
Yeah.
you want to get to something, but one of the things I noticed about John that I was reading this morning is that after receiving the Holy Spirit and getting an understanding of what the Messiah was doing, he wrote in those scriptures there, this was done in fulfillment. So he had an understanding that was a big part of the Messiah's mission. And maybe if you think it's important to talk about a little bit about the lots casting. You talked about what King David talked about casting lots.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
I don't know if you want to go over that, or if you have enough time.
Well, no, we can go. I mean, we're down here to show that the scriptures are testifying of the Messiah. And I'm just trying to go through this a little bit. I want you to see the writers and what they wrote, and then go back and look at the scriptures and what the prophecy that was said about it and how you see it being fulfilled. That's what we're doing, see? Now, since he asked the question, we'll go about to answer the question. See? In Leviticus 16 chapter, you find that Yahweh given Israel about the Day of Atonement, where they had to take and offer up a goat, 2 goats. They had to cast lots for the 2 goats. One was to be, one goat was going to be set free, and another goat was going to be offered up for the sins of the people. So they had to cast lots for that. That's your prophecy you have there in, well, not prophecy, it's where you have what Yahweh required them to do on the Day of Atonement. See, now.
What does that mean, casting lots?
Yeah.
Original Vegas.
Yeah. We'll be looking for that.
Pulling the short stick.
That's the shortest way of saying it, casting lots, and or throwing dice, or determine between which one was going to be offered up, which one was not going to be. It's done like drawing straws, same thing type of thing.
Short straw,
You have,
long
you
straw.
have one short straw, and you have the rest of them be long when you put them in a bag. And all right, pick out one, whichever had the short straw. He's the guilty one, you know, or what are you asking about? Yeah.
So a comment was made earlier in regards the right and the left side and the sacrificial. And somebody said scapegoat. So there's actually those are two different things.
Right.
One's being released and the other one's being
Right. And the Messiah plays both parts.
I'm confused because
The Messiah's playing both parts.
right.
He's the goat. He's playing both parts. He's playing the part of being the sacrifice being offered up, and he's also being the scapegoat. Scapegoat is portrayed when they took his body off the cross. So we got that down there on pick it up. They took his body off the cross and laid it in Joseph's new tomb where no man had laid before. Which is like they was back here when on the Day of Atonement, they were supposed to take that goat that was to set free, and a fit man was supposed to go out and set him out in the open field, let him run and let him go. Well, with the Messiah, they took his body off the cross and laid it in Joseph's new tomb where nobody had laid before. See, setting him free. Now, his body was put in Joseph's new tomb, and the stone was rolled up.
Sure.
See, now, let's get now. Let me. On top of that, you have when Jonah was in the belly. When Jonah was on the ship, and the mariners they were troubled by the storm. They went around to find out who was at fault. So they found Jonah in the bottom of the ship, and they brought him up, and they said, "Well, were you the cause of this here?" Well, he knew he was fleeing from where Yahweh told him to go. He was going to a different place, so he knew it was caused by him. See, and they cast lots, and they found out it was him that was the cause of it. And he said, "Pick me up and throw me overboard," which was a sign that the Messiah gave as his death, burial, and resurrection. So you see casting lots down through the scriptures that way. There's other points you go through the scriptures you find where they were casting lots, or the Urim and Thummim was used, things like that to distinguish right and wrong. See, and and you had that going on. See, now the events that you have. See, John wrote more detail about what happened on the cross and the things that happened around the Messiah than the rest of them did. Remember, John also, I didn't say this about John, but John had read Matthew, Mark, and Luke's writings. So he already knew what they had said. And now what he's doing is adding to that, or adding things that they omitted or didn't write down. So now you're getting a better picture. Now that's why the scholars have a big problem with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, because they're not in agreement as they want them to be. See, but they are in agreement when you understand the purpose of Yahweh and the plan. You go back through and be able to find out what is right and what is wrong. Find out the order they were done in as well. See, all those things become a criteria in understanding this. See, and when you put down in a way you can see the sequence of events, you have a better appreciation of what really went on. See, and John did a lot more writing. He told more about what Messiah said on the cross and all those type of things than the rest of other writers did. See?
Wasn't he right there at the crucifixion?
Yes, he was. He was there writing. Yeah.
Right
He said, even the last part of his writings, he says, I
Right.
was a witness to it. I have a very record of it. So you know he was an eyewitness, and Matthew was the other one, but you don't have him being as precise as John was. So you have that. So we see now that everything that's being done with the Messiah is in fulfillment of something back in the Scriptures. And that's what should bring about giving you and me confidence first that the Scriptures are right, are true, and then also being understand why the Messiah did the things he did, because he's actually fulfilling the law and the prophecy. See? Okay. Let's see. Just trying to think of how much is I'm going to cover with what time we have. let me see. Let's see, there's different times they wrote that, but that, okay. We got him on the cross, we got the sign over his head, the cast lots with his garments, these are things being done. Okay. Now let's get Matthew 27:50, Mark 15:37, Luke 'Luke, I want you to take it, 23:44 through, no, 23, wait a minute, yeah, 44 through 46, wow. And then John, okay, John. (19, 28, 29, and 30). 3 verses.
Matthew 27:50.
Mm-hmm.
Yahshua, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of... Oops, that's all you want.
Read the next verses, you got it.
And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And the earth did quake, and the rocks rent.
The rocks rent, right. So now, you see, by Matthew's account, he gave up the ghost, and then when he gave up the ghost, you have the veil in the temple that divided between the most holy place and the holy place. That veil was ripped out, rent in twain, ripped out, fell to the ground, okay? Ripped out. That veil is representative of the flesh. And that was Yahweh in a fleshly body fulfilling law and the prophet. And he's going down, see. Now, so we've been so many things coming by. See, if, oh, I didn't pick that up, man. I passed that up. You find that in the, before you give it a go, you find that they put him on the cross at 9 o'clock in the morning. And at noon, it turned dark between the 6th and 9th hour. Oh boy. Yeah, well, okay, we're going with this, it's going as we are. I said, can't just get everything like I want. I'm gonna get this straightened out before I have it real clean, we have, people go right down. But the thing, I have a chart, and I try and get the verses of chapters going across each other. And it's hard to do that because some have got to read 4 or 5 verses, and one you only have 1, and then some have got 8, 9 verses. And trying to line them up to be in agreement, those type of things become a problem, and at least about the same subject as well. See, so now I'm trying to just deal with this here one thing. So now we got Mark 15:20-37.
Mark 15:37. And Yahshua cried with a loud voice and expired.
He expired or gave up the ghost. King James version said gave up the ghost. Okay. Luke 23:46 and 47. No women.
44, you said.
Oh yeah, I went up. I did. Went okay. 44 to 46, right?
Luke 23:44. And it was about the 6th hour, and there was a darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour. And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple was rent in the midst. And when Yahshua had cried with a loud voice, he said, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. And having said thus, he gave up the ghost.
So now he's given up the ghost just before 3 o'clock in the evening of that same day. It turned dark from noon to 3 o'clock that day. See? Now that was Yahweh in that body. And, well, I should say Yahweh Elohim in that body is the way I should say it. See? Now Yahweh Elohim, it was him that caused the creation to come in. And he said, Moses said he heard Yahweh Elohim. See, he said, let there be light, and there was light, and he divided the light from the darkness. And Yahweh Elohim said he called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Mm-hmm. So when the Messiah's on that cross, when it was daylight, to him it was day. When it was night, it was darkness. So that was a day with him.
Right.
See, then at 3 o'clock in, the darkness went away, and like the sun was there again until 6 o'clock. Then it was dark again. So you got 2 days in that one day.
Phenomenal day.
See, that's a phenomenal day with him. See, on that one day when the Messiah was crucified. Then later he's on the cross or in the tomb Saturday night and raised very early Sunday morning, the third day. So you see that's what's transpiring here. So now we have him on the cross, and we have him giving up the ghost, said his thing, and we also got the time frame at being about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. Now give me the last one I have. Did you finish it up? Okay, John.
John 19:28.
Mm-hmm.
After this, Yahshua, knowing that all things were now accomplished, in fulfillment of the scripture, saith, I thirst. Now there was set a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar, and put it upon hyssop, and put it to his mouth. When Yahshua therefore had received the vinegar, he said, It is finished, and he bowed his head and expired.
Every time I read it, I think about that. Here's a man that's just been beaten. His body's lacerated. And he put vinegar up there. And you know, he put it in his mouth, something's going to drip.
Yeah.
It's going to fall on his wounds he has, and it's just going to be an agonizing pain. And he can't, he's up there, he can't move his arms, he can't move his feet, he's just exposed to the elements, And therefore, he's going to have more pain in doing that. But he gave up the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
See? I don't have time for all this. Anyhow, so we got it, and he gave up the ghost. Now the events that happened after he gave up the ghost now. See? Now, by their law, and by their, I should say by their law, the next day was a Sabbath day. So you got to take the body off the cross before 6 o'clock. So between 3 and 6, got this going on here. See, and what happened is you have a young man, or I should say, a man of nobility, go and ask for the body of the Messiah. See, and I don't have time to read all these things, but he goes and asks for the body of the Messiah. And then of course Herod was baffled because he said, has he died already? Because because they took a longer time to die. See, and then what had happened is the soldiers, they went about to try to get the bodies off the cross. They went about to break the legs. See, well, they broke one thief on one side and went around and broke the other thief's leg. They passed over the Messiah, see. And the reason why they did that was because the prophecy always said that a bone in his body should be broken, so they couldn't break his bones. See, and we could have that real, but just so much. Oh boy! When I get this thing cleaned up, it's going to be good to use this thing. It's going to be good to use this thing, but trying to get it down like I want it is fine. See, yes,
Can you explain why they would break the bones of those that they hung on the cross?
Well, it was done mainly to hasten death. First thing, which is going to cause them to suffocate.
Asphyxiation.
So that's it was a way they called them to suffocate or asphyxiation.
They couldn't support themselves.
And they couldn't
Right.
support themselves, and the Bible give, and they put more weight on their chest because of them to suffocate over a period of time. But now, what had happened, see, now the Messiah, he'd already told them up front beforehand, no man taketh my life. See, I lay it down myself and take it up again. So, when this happened, when he gave up the ghost, they didn't get to kill him or get to break his legs. He'd already given the ghost. See, like Adam, he died. See, nobody was there around there to see that transpire either. See, but he died. See, and now the Messiah, he got to go to the same place. He died and was buried, so the Messiah got to go to the grave to pick him up. See, that's what he died. He died to redeem the man that had fallen. He shed his blood to atone for this man's sins back here. See, yes.
Go ahead. It passed me by.
Well, that's it. Well,
Or you may have answered the question. Well, are the Roman soldiers, are they breaking?
They're breaking the legs and they're hastening death. Are they doing it because the Sabbath is nearing and they're doing it to appease the Jews, or or they're trying to get it over with, or?
yeah,
They
you
know the law.
see, I wanted to have witness of what I'm talking about. Hmm? Yeah. Maybe I do it. Maybe I do it. John 19:31. No, get that for me. Hold it for me. Just 1 minute. John. Oh, come on. I don't like to. I don't like to teach a class like this, but
Yeah.
I'm not as organized as I wanted to be. Would like to be to deal with this here, but what I want you to see is that. Okay. Oh, heck, the Bible didn't do it.
John 19:31.
Were you looking for it in the law, Fred, or what?
I was looking for it in the.
Can I read 2 verses in Deuteronomy, Fred, that pertain to that?
10:38:10.
21, 22, and 23.
21st chapter.
Yeah, it's a law of execution by hanging.
Yeah. Go ahead and read that. There's another one there.
Okay, Deuteronomy 21 and 22, the caption says, law of execution by hanging. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and if he be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree.
What Deuteronomy what now?
21, 22.
21, 22. Okay.
His body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day. For he that is hanged is accursed of Elohim, that thy land be not defiled, which thy Elohim giveth thee for an inheritance. So that's in the law. It's not supposed to stay in the tree. Stay hanging.
What are you looking for, Fred?
Joshua 8:29.
Mm-hmm.
And Joshua 10:26. should have read verse Drew, but it's time. I just didn't remember the chapters and verse.
Joshua 8:29.
Mm-hmm.
And the king of Ai, he hang on a tree until eventide. And as soon as the sun was down, Joshua commanded that they should take his carcass down from the tree and cast it at the entering of the gate of the city, and rise thereon a great heap of stones that remaineth unto this day.
So they buried him with stones. They took him off the tree, they hung him, took him off the tree before sunset, and then they put stones over his body to bury him there. See? Then I think that was 10.
26
26.
and 27.
Let me see, was this? That was, you read already, go ahead and read that 10, 3. I was trying to confirm that they had to take the body off the tree and bury him before sunset. Yeah.
Yeah, but John 19, 31, I think, really answers
Yeah, it does.
the question that Gilbert asked. I know you have to go back in the law
Yeah.
to confirm, that they couldn't stay on after they died.
Right. Yeah, right.
Buried before the evening,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, right.
But then,
Because of preparation day, yeah. Mhm.
but they were in a hurry.
Right. Read it down a bit there. I think he gives a good account there. That's in John what?
19.
And
30.
28, read down through 31.
John 19 and 28. And this Yahshua, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, saith, I thirst. Now there was set a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar, and put it upon hyssop, and put it to his mouth. When Yahshua therefore had received the vinegar, he said, It is finished. And he bowed his head, and gave up the ghost. The Jews therefore, because it was the preparation that the body should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day, for the Sabbath day was a high day, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken, and that they might be taken away.
See, they had to get permission to break the legs. See? Okay, read on.
Then came the soldiers and broke the legs of the first and of the other which was crucified with him.
Mm-hmm.
So because it was a high day, a holy day, they wanted to hasten the death.
And that proved that they were Jews that were crucified with the Messiah, because the Romans, the way they crucified, they would leave you up there for days. They didn't care nothing about
Right.
particular.
Well, they
They
had,
didn't care.
well, because they were Jews. That's true. Because the
The Romans didn't have
no kind of mercy.
No mercy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you see, you get to see a better culture of the people and all this type of thing. See, now, they could not crucify without the authority of the Roman government. And if you look at what had happened, there's only been about when was Pope Pius, Pope John the 23rd. No, it's later than that. Pope John the 23rd. Pope John. No, Pope John Paul II. That's what I want to get. The one who just died. The one who died about 4 or 5 years ago. See, he was the one who finally said that they were guilty as well as the Romans were about crucifying the Messiah. The Roman Catholics have been holding that the Romans killed the Messiah. That the Catholics said that the Jews killed the Messiah. That they had to find out that actually the Romans, they did kill the Messiah. The Jews could not kill him without the consent of the Roman government. That's why they had to go get permission.
Right.
They had to go get permission to kill him. They had to get permission to break the legs as well, because they weren't able to hang there and have suffer pain for a long time. But they had to break his legs. But the Messiah, he already gave up the ghost, and they were kind of surprised about that. See, that's why you had the young men. You had them, you had them asking for his body, you know. Okay. Now, all this is going on. You had the Jews watching this, watching this happening, and they're looking at it, seeing the events happening, and there's somebody bewilderment and all this type of thing. But you have oh heck. Okay.
Question. How close is all of what you're presenting here to what was presented with the Bible not too long ago? The movie. Did you gather that he was fulfilling the scriptures?
There's some pieces. I don't remember all the details that well. I'm going to go back and look at it again. I got the whole movie on DVD now, so I'm going to go back and look at the whole thing without deal with the commercials and all. But there were a lot of things that were very close, and a lot of things were way awry. I don't remember much about the they did show him say thirst and all this, and they did show that, and then they showed being giving up the ghost, and some of the things he said on the cross, they did have that on there. So some of the things that was on there were very accurate, some things were not. Some of the events might be a little bit off, but other than that, it was pretty close to it.
Would you get the feeling that the Messiah was fulfilling the law and the prophecy, the things that Moses wrote?
Only when somebody having knowledge that he was doing that, yes.
Sure.
But somebody looking at it that don't know what his mission was, they wouldn't get it because they didn't narrate it that way. If they narrated it so you could see that it was in fulfillment, then you have a better appreciation. That's what I dislike about movies is if they had where they have the narrator say this was done in fulfillment, and they give us where it was given that kind of thing through the movie would then convince a person that the scripture did testify of him. But so many of the movies that come out, they don't have that kind of narration to it, so a person can extract. Now, somebody that has a knowledge of the law and probably know he was fulfilling, they would see things that he was fulfilling, but it's not being clear. Somebody looking at the movie, they don't have nothing to relate to because they haven't been taught that. That's the problem. They haven't been taught that. So and that's one of the big problems. We're trying to teach somebody about things. See, people come in here, they've been taught many things. They've been taught from the different ministers, different churches they've gone to, heard a lot of things, read a lot of things, and they come in with all these things in their mind, and they're coming down really to sit and just, are you in agreement with what I think? Or are you in agreement with what your difference is? Well, we can't worry about that. We got to just tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. And that sometimes it hurts some people, but it's got to be done. That's the way the gospel's got to be preached that way. So I'm saying that so you be aware. We're on your side, but we want you to know the truth. You got to go back and see that the scripture did foretell what was going to transpire. And that's what I'm trying to show, that everything's happening is based upon it being foretold and being fulfilled. And as you see it being fulfilled, that then brings about a confirmation, a confirming that the scriptures are true. And that's really what the founder of the school wanted to teach, so that people be able to see that the Bible is accurate. See, but because men put their mind to it, and they had their 2 cents, so then that's where we get all the problems we have now. See, and that's a whole lot of that's done, yeah. Okay, well, let's get down and see. Now we got crucified and see. Well, Joseph Arimathea, they asked for his body. And they took his body and boy, I had it all lined up and it just went all messed up. I was just going to have one account read and just do it that way. Let's take Mark 15:42.
Mark 15:42.
I wanted to read at least down to the 46th verse. So 42 to 46. This is dealing with them asking for the body and that type of thing.
Mark 15:42. And now when the evening was come, because it was the preparation, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Joseph and Arimathea, an honorable counselor, which also waited for the kingdom of Yahweh, came and went in boldly unto Pilate and demanded the body of Yahshua. And Pilate wondered if he were already dead. And calling unto him the centurion, he asked him whether he had been any while dead. And when he knew it of the centurion, he gave the body to Joseph. And he bought fine linen and took him down and wrapped him in the linen, and laid him in the sepulchre, which was hewn out of a rock, and rolled a stone unto the door of the sepulchre.
Okay. Now he rolled a stone. Now read the next verse too. Read the next verse too.
And Miriam Magdalene and Miriam, the mother of Joseph, beheld where he was laid.
So they were watching him. They take the body off, and they see him take him, wrap it up in clothes, take him, put it in the Joseph new tomb, and they beheld what was happening. They put a stone up to the door. Okay. Now, we got him in the grave, and they put him in the grave. Now, over the Sabbath day, see, then you come to the first day of the week, the beginning of the first day of the week. And that's where you pick it up in Matthew 28:1. Boy, these things are really messed up on me, man. Oh, man.
This is a real quick one. You can answer it real quick. The centurion, the one that after Yahshua, after the earthquake and all that, when he died, the one that said, truly this was the son of Elohim. Was that Cornelius?
I don't know. I'm telling you, I just don't know. I never thought about that being there, because I don't remember of an account that was associating him being there. It might be that it is, I don't know.
I was just wondering why a Roman soldier would even say something like that.
The soldiers were complex about the man to begin with, because the way he took his interrogation, they were questioning him and how he didn't hold his peace and all that. They marveled at him not doing that type of thing. And then when they put the crowns on him, the crown of thorns on him, and they mocked him, all that type of thing. All those things, they beheld all that stuff. And they seen how he carried or handled himself. That was really the question. Truly he must be, or had to be.
He was Cornelius.
What's that?
The soldier that did what?
Pierced his side.
No. The one that said that when he saw, after he seen the earthquake when the Messiah was crucified, so we had brought that in. But when he was crucified, the centurion said, "Behold the earthquake and seeing this thing happen, and see how he gave it." So truly, this man must be the Son of the living God. Yes.
One of the things that you read earlier was they hadn't brought any accusation against him that was worthy of death until they brought out that he makes himself equal with the Father, where he said that I and the Father are one, and that he was a
Destroying his body.
right, and so the soldiers and all those that were there had to have heard this.
I mean, I was just wondering, I was just curious that a Roman soldier would say the son, you know, what would they be concerned about that for?
Well, the problem was Noah's the broad.
I was just asking, that's all.
Yeah.
Just curious.
I'm gonna say, the way I observed it, he was not the centurion that they were, Cornelius, he was not Cornelius, the centurion, but, you would have them, I mean,
It just hit my mind, you know, because he was a centurion.
yeah. I can understand why you said that.
But even at that, but
Okay.
even at that, you know, it's somewhere in there. Dr. Kelly used to oftentimes say it how that who was it that sent him to get the Messiah? He sent who was it that sent him to take him? The Roman leader sent his soldiers to take the Messiah, and when they heard him preach,
So you go get it.
they left him alone. They went back and said, and he asked them, "Well, did you bring him?" And they said, "No, we ain't never heard a man speak like that. You want him to go get him yourself."
Right.
Where is that? Do you know where?
No, I don't, I know what you're talking about.
I didn't mean to get off. I just wanted.
Yeah, that's fine. A good question to come up. It's a good question to come up. There's nothing wrong with that being asked. Trying to get these down to the very, to cover this ground in a fair and balanced way, to convey all the elements involved, which is what you're doing, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I just haven't found any way to either verify or to confirm it, so might as well keep my mouth zip on it. See, on that as it is. Now, let's just start this off, because we're not going to get this, not going to nowhere get through with this, but I want, yes.
I just wanted to say that centurion, for those that don't know, century, it would be someone in charge of 100 soldiers.
Right.
Centurion. So there would be many centurions within the Roman
Right,
land there.
right, that's right.
And
Correct.
Cornelius was one of them.
Right,
One of many.
that's correct. Okay. Matthew 28:1. Mark 16:1. Luke 24:1, and I'm gonna have you read that too. Let me see this. Okay, wait a minute. Matthew. Interesting. Okay.
Want to share that?
Hmm?
Want to share what was interesting?
No, well, I had just pretty much finished this up yesterday morning, and I went back, started going back through the particulars again, and I moved a couple of things around and just messed everything all up, and they're not lined up where I can just look right across the ceiling. So I'm all bewildered behind it, because I didn't run a copy of to check it before this morning, so here I am. Okay, we're going to do the best we can. I'm going to get it straightened out so it'll be much more easier to handle. But main thing I want you to get this, okay, read, you got Matthew
Mhm.
I want Matthew 28:1
Right.
through this is through 5, 1 through 5.
Mhm.
And Mark this will be 1 to 6.
Mhm.
And then Luke Luke, we're going to take that from
24:1.
1
Maybe through 8.
through 8. And then John, we get John 20. One. And read down to the 10th verse on that. By the time we get that all read, time will be up. We get that easy, we get it read. We gotta have some questions to ask to stimulate your mind. We'll get back to it when I get this thing straightened out. Okay.
Matthew 28:1.
And I apologize for you because I had planned to have this all together, and I got you all in having you all read all this stuff and then come down here and I'm not together like I'd like for it to be. See, okay, but you're going to see what I'm talking about now. I'm reading this night, the event that took place the first day of the week. Okay.
Matthew 28:1. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of Yahweh descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it. His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow. And for the fear of him the keepers did shake, and became as dead men. And the angel answered and said unto the woman, Fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Yahshua, which was crucified.
Mm-hmm.
Mark?
Now, the other accounts you have the other accounts that you have. Mark, Luke, and John.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say nothing about the stone got rolled away. There's nothing about the stone being rolled away. They just said the stone was rolled away. They didn't say how it was done. See? Now, Matthew gives you, it says the earthquake. And you know the earthquake going to move things around. So, earthquake rolled the stone away. Okay? So we got a stone. But now, also what else did it describe?
The angel rolling.
About the angel rolling away. And also talking about the angel set upon the rock.
Right.
On the stone. And it also describes how the angel looked.
Mm-hmm.
His appearance
Lightning.
was like lightning. His garments white as snow.
Rain as well.
See, so when I'm trying to get, they say they went there at the beginning at dawn. See, but this is already has happened because the stone rolled away. When they got there, the stone already rolled away. And the soldiers that were standing guard to guard the Messiah, guard and keep him from to guard him, because they had gotten the accusation that he said, "Destroy this temple in 3 days, I'll raise it up again." So the Levite, the Israelite priesthood, they wanted to make sure that he didn't raise from the dead. That would be their problem. So now here they were guarding. Now when this angel came down, when the earthquake took place, the angel came down, they fell as dead men. See, they regrouped themselves and got up, went to the Pharisees and wanted to send them to tell them that he had risen. So that's going on. But now here comes Mary and the rest of them coming to see the sepulchre. Well, they're going there. What are they going there for? Let's get Mark and get that account first.
Mark 16:1.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Miriam, the mother of James and Salome, had bought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. And they said among themselves, Who shall roll us away the stone from the door of the sepulchre?
So now what you're seeing is that remember we read, they watched him put in the tomb. Now we're seeing them, they're coming back and they've seen the stone rolled. They thought they were too weak to roll a stone. We said, who's going to roll away the stone for? See, okay, so they got that in mind. Okay, read on.
For it was great, very great. And when they looked, they saw the stone was rolled away. And entering into the sepulchre, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment, and they were affrighted. And he said unto them, Be not affrighted. Ye seek Yahshua of Nazareth, which was crucified, and he is risen. He is not here. Behold, the place where they laid him.
Okay, that's good. Now go give me Luke 1.
24:1.
24:1.
24:1 of Luke. Now upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came unto the sepulchre, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them. And they found the stone rolled away from the sepulchre, and they entered in, and found not the body of the Messiah. And it came to pass, as they were much perplexed thereabout, behold, 2 men stood by them in shining garments. And as they were afraid, and bowed down their faces to the earth, they said unto them, Why seek ye the living among the dead? He is not here, but is risen. Remember how he spake unto you when he was yet in Galilee, saying, The Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men, and be crucified, and the third day rise again. And they remembered his words.
Okay. Okay. Now let's get John's account, and then we'll.
John 20, verse 1. The first day of the week cometh Mary Magdalene early, when it was yet dark, unto the sepulchre, and seeth the stone taken away from the sepulchre. Then she runneth and cometh to Simon Peter, and to the other disciple whom Yahshua loved, and saith unto them, They have taken away Yahshua out of the sepulchre, and we know not where they have laid him. Peter therefore went forth to that other disciple, and came to the sepulchre. So they ran both together, and the other disciple did outrun Peter, and came first to the sepulchre. And he, stooping down, and looking in, saw the linen clothes lying, yet went he not in. But when Simon Peter was come, he went into the sepulchre, and seeth the linen clothes lie, and the napkin that was about his head, not lying with the linen clothes, but wrapped together in a place by itself. Then went in also that other disciple, which came first to the sepulchre, and they saw and believed. For as yet they knew not the scripture, that he must rise again from the dead. Then the disciples went away unto their own home.
Okay. Now, from what you read, what's your conclusion of what happened? Was it, we got seeing two angels and one man, one count gives a man, one count gives two men, or two angels. Then you got who went there? It was Mary Magdalene, Mary, mother of James and Salome. See, went there. Well, what happened? What was the outcome? What really came down? See, now you read all that, You read all of that. Now in John, the next verse, you're going to pick up John's. Now remember, John, he is giving the account after he read these other articles. He's saying more about what happened than the other one did say. So what has happened? You've seen that Mary and the other Marys, they had gone to the sepulchre, and the angels appeared to them and told them he's risen. See, and they went back and told the disciples that he's risen. Peter and John ran to the sepulchre to see if it's true. They went there and found it was so. But none of them had talked to the Messiah yet. None of them had talked to the Messiah yet. See? Now we're going to pick up the story after that had happened. Remember, Peter and John, they ran to the sepulchre, and Mary went along with them. They ran to the sepulchre. Peter went there and ran inside. John was first to get to the sepulchre. He's the youngest. So he ran in and he got to the sepulchre, and he was just sat there. Peter came along later. He came and went on into the sepulchre. See, and then he went in behind him, and they looked and saw what happened. So now they seen that his body was gone. They didn't take it. So they realized it's gone now. So then after that, what happens? See? Now read the next verse there in John, please. I think 11 verses.
John 20:11. But Miriam stood without at the sepulchre weeping, and as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the sepulchre.
Now the 10th verse says the disciples they went on their way home, but she stayed there at the sepulchre. Okay, now read.
Verse 12, and seeth two angels in white sitting, the one at the head and the other at the feet, where the body of Yahshua had lain. And they say unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? She saith unto them, Because they have taken away my rabbi, and I know not where they have laid him. And when she had thus said, she turned herself back and saw Yahshua standing, and knew not that it was Yahshua. And Yahshua said unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? Whom seekest thou? She, supposing him to be the gardener, said unto him, Sir, if thou hast borne him hence, tell me where thou hast laid him, and I will take him away.
So now they're in a garden. The sepulchre was in a garden, and she didn't know who it was when she looked around. She just thought it was a gardener. Why is she thinking that? Why is the events happening that way? Why is she at the scene at this particular time? See? Now we have to go back. Remember, we said Adam was a figure of him that was to come. So when Yahweh created this man Adam, he created the man Adam outside the garden, took and placed him in the garden. Then he went into the side and took the rib of the moon and made a woman. See? I should say, it caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man. So I mean, Adam was in type dead. And he goes in the side and takes the rib of the moon and made a woman. And then when he awoke, the woman was presented to him. So here's Mary Magdalene. He's got to be in the same situation because he's got to fulfill this now. Well, we got to go back and get Mary Magdalene first, but understand something about Mary Magdalene. See, the first kind I think you have in the 8th chapter of John where she goes in with the Pharisees and scribes. They went out all night looking for somebody caught in adultery, and they found Mary Magdalene, and they took him to the Messiah in the temple, see, to see what he's going to say about it. They're trying to trap him, see, and they said, we found this woman caught her in adultery. And what does the law say about it? See, and they said, Moses said that such should be stoned to death. What do you say? See, Messiah, he got busy, went down and got him stoned too. No. See, he got down and he started writing in the sand. See, and he's just writing in the sand, and they asked him about it. So then he stood up. He said, now, this is what I want to see. And they said, he that is without sin, let him cast the first stone. See, from the oldest of the priests to the youngest, they started. They knew they had sinned, and they had not atoned for their sins for that day yet. So they're getting out, they're leaving out, because this is early in the morning before the 9 o'clock service, so they hadn't got atoned for their own sins, so they're creeping out. See? And after he asked him that question, he bends down and starts writing the sand again. See? Somebody, well, what's he writing in his hand for? Why's he doing that for? See? We go back here and see, when God gave the law to Moses, he wrote on the table of stone, he wrote on 2 tables of stone. See? You got it written twice time because one dealt with the first covenant and the second covenant. But he's writing in the commandments. Tell me, thou shalt steal, thou shalt commit adultery, thou shalt. So he's writing the commandments. See? Well, they got the woman caught in adultery. See? Why? What's this situation? We'll go back here. Here's Eve. She's married to Adam. See? But Satan comes on the scene. See, the other fellow, he comes on there. He appears to Eve and deceives her and causes her to be disobedient. So now she's in adultery. So now we got them both in adultery. So that's why the Messiah there had to be an adultery case somewhere in the Messiah's life that had to be portrayed. So here's what's happening. So now they caught her in adultery. Now, when they left, the Messiah got through writing. He got up, said, "Woman, where are thy accusers?" And she said, "I have none." He said, "Go and sin no more." In other words, I'm taking upon myself her sins. So go and sin no more. See? And that's when the fall. Now, back to the movie. You asked me about the movie. They got Mary Magdalene running around with the disciples. Everywhere they were going, they had Mary Magdalene running around with the disciples. See, got him at the Last Supper, got him at the Last Supper. I'm talking about Mary Magdalene at the supper there. They got her. See, now that's a big thing came up about 2 or 3 years ago. They're trying to say that Mary was one of the disciples. Mary Magdalene was one of the disciples. I know they made her a saint. They made her a saint, you know? No. I don't know if they made her a saint yet. But they made Mary Magdalene a saint.
I don't think so. I know there was a movie that she was married to Jesus.
Oh, yeah, they got several stories out about that, yeah. So it's trying. Okay, the time's up. But anyhow, the point I'm trying to get at right now is that, you see, we know what has to transpire because we're looking at the scriptures and seeing what's happening in the scriptures to know what he's got to come in and fulfill. So we got to see that happen. So she's got to meet the qualifications. First, being a woman caught in adultery. See, the men, the priests they're accusing, they can't accuse them because they hadn't atoned for their sins for that day either, so they couldn't do it. So they had to flee. See, then Messiah just said, "Go and sin no more." So he takes upon sin. Now, because Eve was deceived and gave it to her husband, then what he's got to do, by Messiah himself, see, picking up Adam's sin, he's got to come in and atone for it. So the first one he got to talk to or see is a woman to fulfill back here. Adam waking from the deep sleep and finding that woman back there. So when you have that, you can see why that had to occur then. So he's seen that. When she sees that, see, now I read on a little bit further, it tells you that she went and told the disciples. So that means that she was the first to preach the gospel. The gospel is the death, burial, and resurrection of the Messiah from the dead. See, well, he was the first to go back and announce he's risen, as he said. When I said, I'll talk to him and everything. See, read that on further down. You were in, was it in John? You read?
John 20:18.
Yeah, right.
You want that read?
Please.
John 20:18, Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen Yahshua and that he had spoken these things to her.
So that's the first time you have someone have a direct communication with the Messiah and the woman. See? And then she goes and tells the disciples, so she's the one first to preach the gospel, see? Now the Roman Catholics, they won't have a women preachers, ministers. See, they're still fighting for that now. For that now. See? So and then on top of I ain't gonna get in there. Okay. So now I'm saying that happened. See? Read on a little further. I want to get down a little more.
Verse 19. Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews, came Yahshua and stood in the midst, and said unto them, Peace be unto you. And when he had so said, he showed unto them his hands and his side. Then were the disciples glad when they saw Yahshua. Then Yahshua said to them again, Peace be unto you. As my Father has sent me, even so send I you.
So now he's sending them out. See, and then, don't go any further, the next verse is this, something else. So I'm just trying to show you that when it comes down to this, here's the Messiah saying these things to her, where she's going and telling them what experiences she has just had with the Messiah. See, and they are still kind of reluctant to believe in what he did. But now when the doors were shut, see, now they got the big question of did he raise physically or did he raise some other way? See, if you go back to Mark 16 and 12, you find out what condition he was in. So we're trying to clarify things. See, they got him raising a physical body because they think they're going to raise from the dead a physical body. See, folks, it won't happen. See, no fleshly man or woman is going to go to heaven. You just get it out of your mind. It's not going to happen. Flesh and blood cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. See?
So in one account that Lucy talked about earlier, one account said they held him by the feet.
Yeah.
That's incorrect account.
Right.
From a physical standpoint.
Right. That's why we're going to have this Mark 16:12 read.
Mark 16:12. After that, he appeared in another form.
After his death, burial, and resurrection, he appeared in another form. In a spiritual body. He's a quickening spirit now. See, and so now when they say they see him, he's appearing to them as though he was alive. It was appeared like okay. You all have had dreams. Most of you have. At least most of you have dreams. And you might see somebody that you love or somebody your friend or whatever in your dream. They look just as real. You open your eyes and they're not there. You know you had a dream. See, we're talking about the same type of thing. This was a vision to them. They saw him in a vision. He appeared to them 11 times, to his disciples 11 times, 11 different appearances to his disciples before he ascended. But all that has to be taken into account is we see that he raised a quickening spirit, and that's the hope that we have. See, we got an immortal spirit abiding in a mortal body. This mortal body is not going to last that long. See, so you can prep it up all you want. Try you can go get shots and eat all kinds of best food you can eat. This body is just not going to make it. See, so you can already see that's not going. So we have a hope. A hope now is in the Messiah. When we believe in the Messiah, he gives us his spirit. He is immortal now. That spirit now in your body is an immortal spirit abiding in a physical body. See? Paul writes, we shall all be changed in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. So we're going to be changed quickly. This flesh is going to be done away with. You're going to put on immortality. See? And you ever be. Now, let me explain it. When that transpires, there's going to be some under glorification and some under damnation. Right. See? But we're all going to be changed. So you're talking about putting on immortality now. See, now if that happens, then you can see that there's going to be a change come. See, I don't care what you're doing, it's going to be a change come. Paul, when the Messiah is revealed from heaven, every eye shall see him. See? Somebody said, well, I don't know. We got television all over the world. We say he's going to descend from heaven, so we're going to be able to look, folks, it's not going to happen that way. You're going to appear right up here in your conscience. See? He's right there now. See, I'm talking about spirit is right there now. All you got to do is make himself known, and when you make himself known, you're either going to be saved or going to be lost. Just that quick. Either you know him or don't know him. You don't know him, we're awakened. See, off to let you go. See, it's not that. See, folks, we're trying our best to get you to see beyond this natural life. I know we love it very much, and all the things to a certain extent we do, because until we get extra pains, and then we begin to gripe and complain. But it's a part of life, you know. See, and just like I try to see people, death is a part of life. Right. And something you ate today or tomorrow or whatever, it had to die before you eat it. And you see, so you're living off of death. See, just by eating. See, you go and get an apple right off the tree. See, the apple on the tree is live, But soon you snap it away from the tree, they're starting to die. So it's death. And you eat it, now you say, and you consume it, now it goes in your body and undergoes a change. Because now you're going to break that apple down, and you're going to extract out the minerals and nutrition value of the apple, goes in your bloodstream and give your body the necessary life it needs to have. This is constant changes over and over again. See, this old body, see, where did it come from? See? You ever pick up a hand of dirt and look at it? See, and you might think about it. That's where you came from. That's where you're going back to it. And you might not like the results of it, but nevertheless, that's what's happening. That's where you came from, that's where you're going. See? Now you've got some people running around talking about as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest, as long as the earth remains.
One generation going to another.
Right, that's right. One generation going to, over now, I think it's over in the Proverbs 1, I think it is. See, one generation goes and another one comes. The earth will abide forever. So they got that in their mind, thinking the earth's going to abide forever. See? Think about it, folks. See? If Peter, he's saying the earth is going to be destroyed, it's going to be rolled up. Well, Isaiah says it's going to be rolled up as a scroll. Peter says it's going to be consumed at the command of Yahweh. See? All the evidence is going to melt with fervent heat. See? Well, now, if that's going to happen, see, if the earth's going to be gone, where are you going to be? You're part of the earth, he's going to be gone too. Well, where did the earth come from? Where did the man come? Where did where everything come from? It came from Yahweh, from pure spirit. See? So that's the origin or the substance or that's the source. That's the right word, source. If that's the source where everything comes from, then what's the conclusion? Where's everything going to go? Right back to the same substance it came from. See? When them towers went down in New York, when those towers went down, see, it was pretty high, didn't it? But when it came to dust, it was all over the city. All dust, you know. They just found another part this last week of the plane that went down there. Found them between two buildings. Now they're looking around for more evidence for people's bodies and see if they find any parts left around in between these two buildings now. Trying to find out. See, right, that's right. So come back and study with it. I hope you got something out of it. I'm sorry that I was not as prepared as I'd like to have been, but I think we got something out of it, hopefully, anyhow. Thank you very much, then. Oh, my name's you.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. I'd like to thank everyone that came out to study with us this morning. Let us all stand to be dismissed. Make sure you get all your personal items that you brought in with you. Be dismissed by the reading of the book of Judah, the last two verses, the doxology. Now to him that is able to keep you from falling and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. To the only wise Elohim, our Savior, through Yahshua the Messiah, our Sovereign, beyond glory, majesty, dominion, and power, both before all time, now and ever. Let us all say, Amen.